I can remember getting ready to go on a date with you and like saying who you were and like showing him a picture of you and him being like, no. No, what are you talking about? Like, this is not the guy I pictured for you. This is not right.
That's a challenge,
though. He literally asked, he's like, are you sure? Like, multiple times. He was like, I don't know about this. And then he met you. I'm pretty sure my dad likes you better than me now.
No, he doesn't like me because I took you away.
And I think that there were definitely like questions when we started dating from my friends and family. But then once everyone met you, everyone was like, gosh, I get why this girl's into him. Like, I get this scenario and this relationship. And then the height just didn't matter.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Raising Heights. I'm Zach.
I'm Tori.
And here today we are going to talk about
stuff.
Dating.
Dun, dun, dun. Dating?
Mixed height dating.
I like it. You're giving it all away before we even get going.
Yeah,
I like
you
it.
Reel them in.
Ooh, you got to pull them in.
Yeah.
Hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
Zach's good at those.
I'm one for one.
Okay, peak and pit. Let's start there. We were just having a whole conversation before we turned the video on here that I kind of wish we would have had on the
We'll
video,
talk about it again
on podcast because Tori loves talking about it.
Yeah. Well, everyone knows if you run a marathon, you got to talk about it.
It becomes your personality.
Yeah, you got to tell everyone about it. So
half marathon though. Let's not
marathon.
get crazy.
Half marathon.
So
peak and pit. What's your peak or what's your pit?
I feel like my pit and my peak are kind of the same today. I'm like really nervous. So I run the half marathon tomorrow that I've been training for, and I just feel really, really unprepared, like extremely unprepared. But then I'm also really excited.
You're doing an extreme physical activity in the middle of a forest.
In the middle of nowhere.
This isn't like the city, Michael Scott, where you can just sit down and there's cars passing by.
Oh my gosh. I know. Well, my biggest concern too is a half marathon is 13.1 miles, but the trail is 14.4. So they're making you do the loop, but then you have to walk back up somewhere to get out of the loop.
Well, and you have to start at the ranger station. You have to go a half a mile before you even get onto the loop. You have to start at the ranger station. They said that's like the safety thing. Because this is an open course, no cars are going to stop.
Right.
And to get everyone gathered in the same spot where you're not on the road, you have to start at the ranger station, basically. So. Yeah.
So and little things like that make me nervous. There's a lot of rules that go along with a marathon, with like running or like a race. And they like sent this email with all of the different these crossroads and what they mean, but then also the signs. And I'm like, what if I miss the sign? I just saw on TikTok, because now, or not TikTok, I'm not on TikTok, but on Instagram, I just saw this girl, because my For You page is basically all runners, and this girl thought she was running a marathon, and she thought she was either doing really good because there's no one around her, or she was doing really bad because there was no one around her. And so she's like, in my delusion, I was running in first place.
Yeah.
Her watch gets to 13.1 and there's no one there. There's no ending. There's nothing.
She's on a marathon.
And she went the wrong way.
Wow.
So I'm literally like, that could be me. But not only would I just end up on a side street somewhere, I would be in the middle of what is that forest? Mount Hood Forest, National Forest?
Yeah, Mount Hood, basically.
Cougars, bears, death.
I think, though, in your defense or your protection, the route is like the half marathon, and then the marathon just continues.
No, the marathon's twice around.
Oh, okay. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
You're gonna...
But either way...
There's gonna be no confusion.
I hope so. Because wouldn't that be the worst?
Yeah, that would be kind of embarrassing.
I am also just nervous that like something dumb will happen. And, remember after I had a C-section and I tried to walk down the hall, I was like, I got this, guys. It's fine. And then they had to bring a gurney to pick me up halfway
Tori
down the
doesn't
hall.
like being the center of attention like that.
Oh my gosh. I would just die.
I have no problem.
I would die. So that's my peak and pit. I'm really excited. By the time this podcast...
You're going to do it, Tori. You're going to do it. It's going to be awesome. Your kids are going to be stoked for you. Having them watch you do something like that is going to be way cool.
Kids are so humbling though too, because I'll wake up in the morning and Jackson will ask me like, "Are you gonna run today?" And I'll say, "Oh no, not today." Why?
Yeah.
Or I'll say like, "Oh, I'm gonna run 3 miles today, 4 miles today." Why don't you do like 6?
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay, Jay, why don't you do 6?"
Yeah.
It's humbling.
Well, and they're still gonna ask for their waffles in the morning, and then
See, that's where you come in, babe. I'm gonna be dead tomorrow. I'm pretty sure.
we got that tournament.
Well, so you got to give me tomorrow.
We gotta get that. Well, not tomorrow. We got that. You're gonna be dead Sunday, and we have that tournament Sunday.
But you have to at least give me tomorrow to be
Yeah.
dead. I'll be
Yeah.
awake on Sunday, but like Saturday, you got to give me.
Yeah, we'll be
But
ready to go.
that's the thing, though, too, is by the time this podcast airs, this episode,
We'll know
the internet will know if I died
or not.
or not.
Yeah.
So
So
I don't want to be picked up somewhere halfway through the course.
you'll be mortified.
I would be mortified. And I think I'm just like nervous about the unknown because I've never done it before. And I'm nervous about like, what do I bring?
They'll will you. They'll will you to the finish line.
hope so.
You're like, I cannot have anyone pick me up.
I cannot. That would be the worst thing ever. And our friends are so encouraging until they talk to you. Honestly, like Mueller and Destiny are like, "Tori, you got this. It's fine. Like you'll get
No,
there.
Milo
It's
said
easy."
that to me too.
No, I know, but then he talks to you and he's like, "No, she should do this, and she should do this, and she should do this." And I'm like,
No,
"Why did you tell me this?"
No, because it's just we talk more frank to each other.
I know.
He pads
no one
it
wants to
around.
say anything to me to be like,
No.
I'm out. I'm not going to do it. I can't do it. No, it's not
No,
possible.
Mueller's so stoked. He's so encouraging. He's like, "You're gonna finish this and that."
Oh,
You know, because it's my questions. I go, "Hey, what should be doing? What should this? What should that?" And he's just
Yeah.
giving me the straight answer. You
But
know,
already though too, he's like, if you wear the shoes that you've been training in, you're gonna fail. And I'm like, well, I'm wearing the shoes that I trained in because
you have no other shoes.
well, I do, but like, I was gonna send him a picture actually. I was gonna lay out like my free knits, my Invincibles, and my Crocs, and be like, pick which one. Which one should I do?
Yeah, do that.
I don't know. Anyway, it'll be fun though.
Doesn't matter how you look. You're in the. This is a physical
and
death.
You know what I just like I balk at sometimes though is because I've on social media talked about this, your phone listens to you, and I now get all of these like running
Yeah.
reels and stuff on my Instagram, and like people have finished a marathon in Crocs. They just do it.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing. It's anyway. So we'll see. We'll see if I survive. We'll see if it happens, and
No,
I'm
it
really
will
grateful
happen.
for you.
You will survive and you will finish.
I'm really grateful for you because I feel like you've been really encouraging and really like
Thank you.
stoked.
No,
so.
I'm super stoked. It's gonna be awesome. I need to get it running.
My running
Crap.
career ends tomorrow, though. Tomorrow is the last day that I will be running.
No. Per our last episode, you should keep a baseline.
Maybe.
You should keep a 3-mile baseline.
Maybe.
That's a good core to have.
Yeah. Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah. And you were on a real big kick on the home gym.
I know. Well, that's what I kind of want to get back to. I want to
Yeah.
get back to like lifting and.
Don't do what I did when I did my lifting and then I just
I'm not
stopped.
trying to get like.
No, I'm
yeah.
not saying that. I stopped and then I went like now I'm lower than when I started. You get what I'm saying? You don't want to like just stop
No, I don't
because
want
then
to
you
stop. Yeah.
lose everything.
And I have like felt really good. I think through this whole process, that's been the best part is I do feel strong and I
Yes.
do feel good.
Yeah.
Like I'm not really worried physically about anything that will happen on the trail. I think it's all emotional and mental that
Yeah.
I'm worried about at this point. As long as my back doesn't go out again because holy crap, that sucked.
Yeah, don't do that.
But what's your peak and pit?
What, didn't you have a heart thing too?
Oh, and definitely I had to have an EKG.
Wait, are you saying that right?
Yeah, I had to have an EKG.
Like a something that
yeah.
tests.
And I had to have a heart monitor.
Yeah.
I was supposed to wear it for 7 days. I only got to 3 days, but
Oh dear.
I had, what do they call them? PVCs and PAPs. I don't know. My doctor wasn't concerned about it. And she goes, I laughed because she sits down and she goes, so I'm talking to a fellow runner here. And I just wanted to like hysterically laugh because I'm like, you're not. Like, she's like this fit, cute, clearly runs marathons in her sleep.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, fellow runner.
yeah.
Anyway.
This doctor does not have good observational skills.
I'm here with a heart issue.
Yeah.
Come on.
After running 2 miles.
Yeah. Anyway.
God bless her.
God bless America.
Uh,
Okay. Anyway.
my peak and pit. My pit. No pits today. peak, Josiah had his sleep study. Lila had her surgery.
We haven't talked about Lila's surgery on
No.
here at all.
Talking about you.
I know. Wow. Gosh, so conceited.
Lila had
her tonsils and adenoids taken out.
And her recovery has been great.
So good. We're so grateful.
Yeah. She's been emotional, very emotional after waking up and nap times.
Yeah.
And she clearly...
She's milking it a little bit.
She's milking it.
But she's...
Not more than a little bit.
But
she's
like, I think we were both pretty nervous on how
Yes.
she would handle it. And she's been great.
She's been great.
We've kept on the like medication pretty heavy because everyone is like, don't like they think they're good and then all of a sudden they're not. So like keep on the medicine. But like we haven't woken up in the middle of the night the last 2 nights to do it. So
yeah, I gave her some by the way at like 1.
Yeah.
Here,
so it's like once or twice a day now.
Yeah.
So I feel like, but I do see the scabs. They look like they're about to fall off, and then I hear it gets bad again for a day or 2, and then you're like,
if it happens
done.
tomorrow, that's gonna be a nightmare.
Good luck with that. I hope it happens tomorrow.
I'm gonna bring medicine.
You have to tomorrow. Oh, 100%. Oh my gosh.
But Lila's recovery's been great, and her sleeping has already been better.
Oh my gosh,
we can she sounds
doesn't snore
better
anymore.
But then Josiah had his sleep study.
So
last night.
Josiah, we think needs his tonsils out worse than Lila because he snores. He doesn't sleep well. But when they're that young and when they have achondroplasia, the doctor prefers to have a sleep study, which is what all of our kids have done. But last night Zach did it with Josiah.
I've done it with Jackson now, Lila, and now Josiah. Josiah was by far the youngest.
Yeah. I don't think by far. I think Jay was younger. I think Jay was a year when he did his.
No, he was walking.
I don't know though, babe, because I remember being kind of like, I don't think this is necessary. But they were like, oh, this is what you do when they turn a year old. Remember?
Okay, interesting.
Either way. They're both young. They were both young.
Okay, interesting. I thought Jackson was already in his own bed by then, which was 2.5.
But remember they tried to put him in a crib and you were kind of like, yeah, that makes sense. I don't know. Who knows? They were similar ages.
Got it. Okay. Similar ages. Josiah did great. I was very nervous. Josiah, he's our hardest putting to bed.
Stubborn. Yeah, bedtime's not his
Jackson
favorite.
was at times, but you could pretty much put him to bed. Lila, you can pretty much put to bed, or we can like read a story, whatever. Right. You can go either one. Josiah definitely needs more.
He screams.
Yeah. Every parent listening to this is like, duh.
I know. Josiah's like our actual normal child.
But I was worried. I'm like, and he's very just loud. And I was like, he's going to rip these cords off. He's
stubborn. He's very like headstrong.
Tori, he loved it. The nurse was fantastic.
So good.
He's watching his little Mickey Mouse, flirting with the nurse, giving her handshakes.
That's something I think that I kind of want to point out. We talked about this in the car the other day. I feel like I'm very proud of us and how we have handled screen time, iPads, phones, that sort of thing. Our kids really don't do that. They don't have iPad time really ever.
Yeah.
And
they get a good amount of TV time.
They do watch movies and stuff.
Just to be realistic to everyone out there.
But I do feel proud of us. Like we don't just whip out the iPad for anything. We don't take it out at stores. We don't take it out at restaurants. We don't take it unless it's an over 2-hour car ride or it's an airplane ride. We don't ever use iPads really.
Or something special. Like a recovery or something like that.
But in these moments, I feel like it helps us immensely because it's such a treat. It's such a treat that Josiah gets to sit there and watch Mickey Mouse on the iPad by himself, also without his siblings. Oh yeah. And it works in our favor, 100%. Like I feel like that's probably what helped a lot yesterday.
100%. And he was just he thought it was ticklish. He thought it was funny. He thought it was. They even put the nose thing in, and he almost started to cry. But he just did it. And then he just sits there in the bed, and then just 20 minutes he's playing with his little tractors, keeps everything on, not once try to yank it off, so good. And then she had to come in maybe 2 times to because he rolls over and a tape thing make an adjustment.
Right.
Most important thing in a sleep study is the nose thing, which is the thing that the kids hate the most. And he kept it, and
I love it.
So I was super nervous, and I was stoked.
I'm so glad that you do those because I don't think. Notice how you didn't call. I noticed how you didn't call me You didn't FaceTime me. You
Oh,
took
yeah.
a video and you sent it to me to be like,
I
hey,
made
we're all
fun of
good.
you with the nurse, but yeah.
I'm sure you did.
Okay.
But I can't handle seeing the kids like that. So I'm so grateful that you do it, because it
Yeah.
is like, it's an emotional thing for me to like see your kid hooked up, even though there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with your kid, hopefully. But like you see him hooked up to all these monitors, and I don't think I could handle it the same way that you do.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful
Well, I
that
don't.
you do
Yeah,
it.
yeah. You struggle too with sleep and
Oh yeah. I'm
being
kind of
woken
a
out. Weird bed.
I'm not a great person if I don't. And I'm running a marathon, so
Yeah.
I'm not a great person if I don't have sleep. So
Yeah. And someone's watching you the whole night too.
Ugh. Oh, I
Yeah.
hate that. Oh, I wouldn't sleep
I
then
don't
at
care.
all.
Yeah, I don't
No.
care, but like you would, you would be.
No. Don't like that.
Okay, so that was my peaks.
Yeah.
Those two things. I feel like
We
those
were
are
really
also
like, oh, go ahead.
those are milestones. Like Lila's surgery has been a big thing,
It's been
and
looming.
now this is the next big milestone for Josiah.
Now
get
I'm kind of
his-
nervous though, because I feel like now we're like, we got to get Josiah's. We got to go. Like,
Yeah.
we need, like, Sai needs to get sleeping better, and we just need to help him sort out his life. But then I'm like, I've heard so many horror stories about tonsils and adenoids. And I think Lila might be an exception to those. And so I'm just kind of like, I don't know if I want to rush into Josiah's, because what if his isn't the same way?
I'd rather do Josiah's in the summer though, when I could be outside with him and
Yeah.
there's water. There's so many things to distract him.
100%. But that's another thing with Lila that I think has been kind of difficult. They say you're not supposed to do activity. They're not supposed to like grunt and stuff. But then it's like, what do you do? Like, she's bored out of her mind. You got to like let her go do something. And so we went to a baseball game with some friends last night. And I do feel kind of bad because when she came home, I think she had overdone it a little bit.
Yeah.
Because she was like, so that's the hardest part, is like trying to find that line of like, what's enough activity? What's too much activity?
What day
But
did
they've
she have her
been great.
surgery?
It's been a week today.
Today's
Today's
Friday,
day
yeah.
7.
That's-
And they say
yeah.
by like day 10, you're good. But you're supposed to lay off of like activity, running.
I think you're okay. You pushed it a little bit.
Yeah.
Day 7. That's not
Right.
it's not like you did that day 2.
3. Yeah.
So
But anyways, but she's been great. And Josiah, let's hope that.
I have a lot more peaks.
What's your other peaks? Keep going.
Just fixing the mower,
Oh yeah, you did that on your
taking
own,
the blades
babe.
off, replacing them. I fixed our push mower
Yeah.
and our ride-on
And
mower.
you sold.
And sold
And
the
you
mower.
sold that other mower piece of junk
Yeah, to
that's
buy a
been
new
sitting in our yard.
tool. Yeah.
So
So I don't know. I
good.
feel like I'm like
You're building
accomplishing-
your toolbox out there.
Yeah. But also not like any other day, I would have just taken it to the shop,
Yeah.
drop $400 for them to say it's out of gas.
I know.
Or something stupid.
We've done that a lot. I think
Yeah.
we're learning like
But no, I want to get better at that,
Yeah.
doing stuff like tinkering and like, let me actually see what's YouTube University.
right.
Let me see what's going on here. And then let me see if I can put this
Do it
together.
yourself.
And I have the tools now to like almost anything that comes up. I have the angle grinder, so I can,
Proud
try
of you,
it.
babe. It's good.
So I don't know. I was pretty
You're
stoked.
you're stressful with the children out there.
I know.
Zach just lets the kids just do whatever in that shop, and I'm like, they're gonna injure themselves one of these days. But
That's how you get stuff done, though.
what's the saying? Let kids do dangerous things carefully.
Yeah, and that's what I feel like they do.
That's totally your motto.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's what they're doing
Yeah.
in our shop. They're doing very
Totally.
dangerous things, but carefully. So
They're playing with they're not like I don't know. They're not playing with like the power tools. Like,
oh man.
Okay,
But
like-
it's only a matter of time until Josiah picks up a power tool and goes, "Oh, what's this?"
okay, he's already figured out. There's certain power tools, not power tools, but like the drill gun. There's some of these. The angle grinder has 2 buttons. The
Yeah.
miter saw has 2 buttons. You have to push a safety mechanism.
Right, yeah. Thank
There's
God.
some drills that you only have to pull the trigger. And I'm like, okay.
Sai's gonna find those ones.
Yeah, every single one of these should have 2 buttons to trigger.
Oh man.
So, anyway,
Well, I love it.
It's been a good week.
It's been a good couple weeks. We're really grateful for like.
whenever I have low expectations for something and then the exact opposite
know,
happens,
it is nice.
it's always such a great feeling.
It is nice. And now it's like I feel like our summer can finally start, like the weather's finally getting better, and now we have surgeries off the plate for a second. Sicknesses are kind of taking a break, and
Oh yeah, we were all
kinda,
sick for a minute there.
well, and that's why like the training for the half marathon, I think I feel so unprepared
Yeah.
because the last 2 weeks I haven't ran the last 2 weeks because
Well,
it's
yeah,
been
we
like
had the
sickness and then tonsils and
the restoration. And
oh my gosh, there's so much.
you have
to
had a
look
lot
at.
of hiccups, like
So
which have
many.
been
My back,
unfortunate.
like there's so many things, but anyway.
You're gonna do it.
Well, okay, we should get onto our topic
Yeah.
because we are just rambling here, people. But thank you for being here with us and
Yeah.
going along with this. I think that topic today can go many different directions. We'll see where it leads us. But we were going to talk about mixed height dating.
Mixed height dating.
Ooh la la.
What do you got to say?
I don't even
about
know
it?
where to start with this one, but
What makes you bring the topic up?
I don't know. I just think it's interesting because I don't know a lot of couples that have one average height and one person with dwarfism. I think that a lot of times we've had.
Is mixed height dating just for people with dwarfism though?
Well, that's the thing is you could relate it. I mean, I don't want to say, like, you can relate it to a lot of other things, but I don't want to be like, I don't want to get torn apart for like comparing it to other things. But I think it totally could like pour into.
Are we talking about just people with disabilities?
Yeah.
That maybe then are married to people that don't have that disability?
Yeah.
Or are we only talking about people with dwarfism married to someone average
I mean,
height?
we can only speak to people with
Yeah.
dwarfism married to somebody of average height. That's the only perspective that we can accurately give.
Yeah.
But I think that, yes, you could. Like, even when it comes to race or disabilities or any sort of difference in coupling,
Mixed. Yeah.
then it can be applied.
What?
But I can't say that because I don't have experience and I don't want to compare my experience with somebody else's. But
what has been your experience?
it's really great. It's been a great experience.
Yeah. Turned out really well.
Turned out good for me.
your
Highly
first-
recommend it.
yeah.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that, I think where we could start with it is, did you, and we talked a little bit with Danielle and Kevin about this, but did you ever picture yourself with somebody who was average height?
I can't remember. I know I said it somewhere on the show, for example,
Right.
years ago. I don't remember. I think,
You didn't think about it.
or no,
probably.
but if I did ever verbalize it, if someone asked me, I verbalized it, which I think I did on the show back in like season 2.
Right.
I think I said a dwarf girl with dwarf kids.
Got
I
it.
think.
But you did for sure say that you want a dwarf army.
With dwarf kids.
You want all dwarf
I totally
kids.
forgot about that.
Yeah. Which
I
you
totally
got.
talked that into existence.
You totally
So
did.
apparently, a previous episode,
Yeah.
millions of years ago,
We should try to find that clip
I
for
know.
everyone.
If someone wants to find that clip,
Yeah.
somewhere
we'll find
between
it.
seasons 1 and 18, I said I wanted multiple dwarf children.
A bunch of little dwarf babies running
Yeah,
around.
and I wanted a dwarf army. So fast forward.
Facts. That is factual, and you got that.
Hey, we will shout you out. We'll shout out your social media if you can find the clip.
I know.
And if you want to send it, what's our podcast
Well, no,
email?
our people will probably. Well, I'll find it for our people and send it to them.
Well, if someone else can, the viewers can find it.
But they're not going to see
you
it
want
until
it for
after.
the
I want it
podcast.
for
Got
the
it.
podcast. I'll find it and
Okay.
send it to them. Because people send it to me all the time.
Okay.
Like people have sent me.
Oh, my bad. I was gonna
Yeah.
say we can give the people something to do.
No, I know.
Some homework.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
But okay.
I'll do your
okay.
homework
So
for
you
you.
got it. You got it. Okay. So yeah, I said it somewhere in there.
Because I know. Okay. Wait, you should ask me the same question.
Yeah. Wait. What was the question?
You should ask if I ever pictured myself.
Did you ever
Somebody
picture
with a-
yourself not marrying, or did you ever picture yourself not marrying someone 6'1" and?
No. The
Okay.
answer is no. So it's funny because growing up, I had lots of okay, not to sound conceited, but there were a couple guys who were admirers of me that I would write them off and say
Shorties.
oh, they're too short. Yeah.
Gosh,
like they
that's brutal, Tori. That
no,
is
it was.
brutal.
But looking back, it was like I was just looking for an excuse. It wasn't that I didn't. It's not that I couldn't date this person because they were too short. They were shorter than I was. It was me being like, I don't actually care for this person. I don't see myself with this person. So that's my excuse to
I know that's brutal.
And that was
though.
only with my girlfriends, whatever.
Do you know what the
But I will have to say, I was like I was in love with this guy in high school. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah. And he was shorter than me. And I didn't really have an issue with it. Like, so I don't know that I ever pictured, he was not like my
I'm gonna
perfect.
say it. Tori has an affinity for people named.
Stop. Stop. Anyway, I did have though like my like crush in high school that I never could talk to and never look at and would get way too embarrassed to like even be in the same presence. He was like 6'2" on the basketball team and like, you know, whatever. And but that was always like that was never I think a requirement of mine.
Got it.
Right?
Got it. Okay. Yeah,
I never
yeah,
really cared. I never really cared what like guys, I don't know, I just wasn't into guys, I guess. Like I didn't date a
You
lot.
had a couple
I
boyfriends
didn't,
though.
yeah. We're not talking about that, but
I think you just look back and you're like, I wasn't into it, but at the time
okay,
you were
and that
into it.
and there you go. That's it though too. Is you look for all of these things that are wrong when the person's not right for you.
Yeah.
You know, like once I met you, even though your height was different than what I imagined, imagined, like there's nothing wrong with you. There was nothing that I could pick apart and be like, oh, I can't date this guy because he's too short. Like, no.
I could pick apart some stuff that you just chose to overlook.
Well, but you do that when you love someone. You choose to overlook people.
How I ate a Helvetia burger and
slammed down a Helvetia burger. But also it was interesting because can I tell a story about my dad?
And keep it vague. But
I don't mean to like call my dad, not that he listens to this podcast anyway, but if he ever did, it's not that I don't mean to like call him out, but I can remember getting ready to go on a date with you and like saying who you were and like showing him a picture of you and him being like, no, no, what are you talking about? Like, this is not the guy I pictured for you. This is not right.
Yeah. That's a challenge
like,
though.
He literally asked, he's like, are you sure? Like multiple times. He was like, I don't know about this. And then he met you. I joke all the time because I'm pretty sure my dad likes you better than me now. Yeah. Like my whole family likes you better than me now.
No, your dad. No, he doesn't like me because I took you away. You and your dad.
No,
were
but
best friends.
yeah, you're right. You're right there.
And then now
you're right.
all you wanted to do was goof off with this kid from Hillsboro.
But as far as the height difference,
his baby was gone.
As far as the height difference, though, he definitely overlooked that once he met you. He was like, "Oh, I think I get it."
No, totally. No, that's the challenge with people. Like, people with disabilities. I feel like you already have this challenge to like impress someone or be seen by someone. So for them to overlook, what do you need for them to overlook that immediate physical appearance?
Right.
Men and women. You know, women have that challenge too because men look at the physical. Girls typically a personality can play way more than
the physicality.
Yeah. So. But then there's also the challenge of family pressure, friends pressure. Right. What's my friends gonna think? What's my family gonna think?
Right.
Okay, well, it's not worth it. I don't want to deal with that or whatever. So there's.
And I think that there were definitely like questions when we started dating from my friends and family, but then once everyone met you, everyone was like, "Gosh, I get why this girl's into him. Like, I get this scenario and this relationship." And then the height just didn't matter. Like, it truly. I don't remember like a point of like, because I think I was definitely nervous about it because I love you, but you were so awkward and you had 6-inch rule. And I'm like, I can't even stand next to this guy to have any sort of physical relationship with because he won't even like he has Jesus, the Holy Spirit, and everything else in between us. And I'm just like, I can't. So that was hard for me to get past. But once we like got past that, it was, it was easy.
My private school that I went to, Christian private school, which I love. Don't get me wrong here. 12 years, Falcon. Okay, there's a 6-inch.
All of our teams are Falcon. He still loves you guys.
I'm still a Falcon. And Jackson's school is the Eagle. There's a 6-inch rule. Okay, so you can't sit next to someone of the opposite sex more than 6 inches. So
you have to save room for Jesus.
So Tori always makes fun of me and says he has a 6-inch rule.
He did though.
I think I had a 6-inch rule in general.
You still do. You still do. I'll still go to parties and try to like hold his hand, and he's like, "Whoa, what are you doing next to me?"
I'm not great with PDA of any sort, even holding hands. But also like this is not a. Okay, don't get offended here.
Yeah.
I think it's also me being smaller.
Yeah.
Okay, if someone's
And a whale trying to come at you.
No. Okay, you get my point though.
Totally.
I can't like your typical,
Like,
you know, and still have presence,
Right,
you know, or
right.
what I feel like, and I'm just not used to it too.
Right.
Like I don't like bounce around with my guy friends or whatever. I was always isolated,
Yeah.
you know, up on the top bunk or whatever else. So it is just a historical.
It's like, but honestly though, I think that in the beginnings of a relationship, I was kind of hurt by that because all of our friends were very PDA and very like touchy-feely, holding hands, and I think that I was kind of like, gosh, he must not be that into me because he doesn't do that. But then now in hindsight, I'm like, gosh, thank God we didn't do that. Like, thank goodness we weren't just like constantly on top of each other, because how awkward
Sometimes when the
for
door
other
closed,
people.
though.
And well, when it's you and I, it's different, but like in front of others, I get it. It's like no one wants to sit there and watch people like
Mac down.
Like, it's not on my list of things to do. So there's a little bit of mystery then too for people, because they're
yeah, that's why I felt like I was a professional with. I kept you thinking.
Okay, well, no, I meant for other people wondering about us.
I kept you wondering, does he still like me? Does he not? Why isn't he doing this?
Oh dear.
I occupied. Hey, for everyone dating out there, okay?
Stop.
Here's my name to fame. You got to occupy the mind, okay? And that's what I did through questions, okay?
My gosh.
It can also be misinterpreted as toxic. Okay?
Yeah,
So,
we've had this episode, Zachary.
I know. If you're doing it intentionally, that's a toxic thing.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you're unintentionally occupying her mind, you dude, buy the ring now. Okay.
Buy the ring.
Because you have her. Okay.
Stop it. You're so ridiculous.
Anyway.
But okay, then I think then also I thought it would be kind of interesting to talk about like the experiences that we've had that maybe because I don't think there's been a ton of negativity when it's come to our height differences. And like, you know, I think my intentions get questioned a lot. Like my intentions are kind of like people question like why I'm with you, which is so silly because I mean, honestly, I question why he's with me. But, you know, I think that like because people can be shallow, people, you know, can be really shallow about relationships. And
I think anyone with a disability has that. Also, family, friends, you know, what do they think? Also, just the challenge, like I just said earlier, of attracting someone in the first place. But also, if you have a disability, men or women, then you also have those thoughts. That person's only into that person because if you have any sort of success as a person with disability or shorter person, someone that's not immediate physically fits the desirable whatever, you know what I'm saying? You like continue. I'm just saying everyone, that's another hiccup in the whole process of then there's assumptions being made, you know.
And I think that those are few and far between. I think that like for the most part we really haven't encountered a ton of adversity. Is that what we would call it? Like there hasn't been a ton of like pushback on that. Oh. But like I can think of a few moments that are like truly in my mind kind of innocent. And I think back to Kevin sharing his story about a woman encountering him in a grocery store and like questioning his existence. Like I've never experienced that before, and like I just can't even fathom how that would feel. But I think within our relationship it's been more people saying things before they observe. Like they're saying things out of like they're blurting.
One would call it word vomit,
which Tori is an expert at. But I can remember one time coming out of American Gangster, and I think we might have told this story before, but it's a rated R film, and it's very like not kid appropriate and wouldn't be appropriate if a child came into the theater. And we came out of the theater walking hand in hand, and a woman said, "I can't believe somebody would bring a kid to this movie."
And there's no children.
And there's no children.
I was the only one relatively.
Yeah. And so it was very clear. Like to me, I think in that instance, this woman just didn't observe correctly. I think she saw someone short, assumed it was a child, and balked at it.
Yeah.
But I that's like really the only interactions I think that we've really gotten is people just saying things before they think.
Totally. I feel like you and I have not the blessing, but like also the anomaly of the fame, the celebrity status. I feel that way all the time. So like there's people with dwarfism, they'll post stories about people just being ignorant, taking pictures of them in the grocery store or whatever else, and just stupid stuff. someone takes a picture of me in the public, I have to assume it was a fan.
Right. And you can't look past anything
yes,
else.
it's difficult. Like, and like,
Yeah.
I just assume it's a fan. I've done that for the last 16, 17 years. So it's difficult for me. I don't remember a situation where I'm like, man, that wasn't a fan. That was something different. Or I've just learned to ignore it. Or honestly, I feel like my picture is taken more than the average person. I can
Right.
walk down the county fair and there's pictures all over the place, and
Yeah.
so I've blocked it out,
Right.
and so I don't even think,
even
oh,
think
was that
about
a
it.
fan? Was that not a fan? I
Right.
don't see it. So the assumption is, okay, it's a fan, and that has shielded me in a way
Totally.
of maybe going down that road.
And I think that's shielded our relationship in a way then too, because it's like I don't think that we ever had that insecurity.
Yeah.
You know, I think people were genuinely just curious, and it wasn't this like malicious thing ever. I don't like remember an instance of ever having it be like a malicious like
There's people that question it
encounter.
online though, that it is
Right,
sad,
the
and
intentions and yeah.
people can't see beyond, and they just can't imagine ever being attracted to someone like that themselves. So
Right.
therefore, it doesn't exist because they don't. It's a
And that's honestly like and this can be a whole other podcast, and we will do a whole other podcast about this, but that's what I think about though too, like reading, and they're hateful, disgusting comments online that I hate even bringing attention to, but like there's people out there that believe that you and I shouldn't be together, and that also we shouldn't have children together.
there's enough comments that say that it's
Oh my
like,
gosh.
it's
But
actually it's not just one or two. There's
no,
a solid amount of
it's
comments that say
disgusting.
that.
But then I look at those people and I go, gosh, like what would I have missed out on if I wrote Zachary off because he was short? Like, what would I have messed up if I had been like, actually, you're just a little too short, looking for a little longer inseam. Sorry, gotta move on. What would I have missed out on?
Yeah.
I would have missed out on so many things, so much love, so much fulfillment, so much like family and kids and like just joy. And I look at those people and I can't feel anything but pity, because I'm like, you're never going to know that love.
Well, then
with that mindset, you're never
Yeah.
going to know how to fully love someone.
Also, though, the belief that like people with disabilities shouldn't reproduce, it puts a stress on society. Like,
We should talk about that in
that's
like
a deep.
another
That's
podcast,
but that's another dark path.
yeah. And that's not a path I choose to go down frequently, because it's just not like it's not relevant. in our life.
Natural reproduction. If you have a disability,
Natural selection.
no, like the side topics would be like, IDF, or like having
IVF.
what's a person that's pregnant for
Right,
you,
a surrogate.
a surrogate. You know, that's a whole nother subject. But like natural, you and I have the right to naturally become or try to have kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Anyone with a disability, I
Right.
think that's a natural thing.
Right.
Doesn't really matter where your society's at. That's a natural thing that we deserve, and we're not that we
100%.
deserve, but
No, it's true though. Like if you want to have a family, there should be nothing that stops you from that. Like that's
reproduction, natural reproduction is everyone's
Right.
right.
And I think that, again, that's a whole rabbit hole that we could go down. But I think the point being is like within this topic of relationships and mixed type dating and dating somebody that's different, you miss out on a lot by having that mindset. Not just in like a marriage or whatever. You miss out on friendships. You miss out on opportunities. There's so many things if you have a mindset that like people of disability are not of worth. Because, and I think that's something that I struggle with immensely, because I don't look at you as a disabled person. I get it. That's like if you had a spreadsheet of what explained you to other people, then like disability would be listed. But I don't see, you're a perfectly capable human for me. Like you just fixed a tractor. I could have never done that. Like, but I think that that's like what people get hung up on, is they see the word disability and they're like, you can't, what do you get out of this?
Yeah,
like,
they don't
there's
want to
nothing
become
get out of this.
responsible. They
Yeah.
don't want to like fall into something. And that's where it goes. I always look at both sides. That's my thing. Also, it's on the disability community too. People, dwarfism, whatever, not being victims, not
Right.
being, and if
Woe is me.
all my friends, like my close friends, if I constantly every day walked up to them and said something about dwarfism,
Yeah.
you know, like,
Which is like this podcast.
but our friends necessarily
I know.
aren't listening to this podcast.
Yeah,
This is for the general public, you know,
Totally.
fans and those.
But
Well,
it
hold
is.
on. Can I finish
Okay,
my
sorry,
thought?
Sorry.
There's also that responsibility too. How are you presenting yourself? You know, how are we presenting ourselves? Because if all I did was talk to you when we met and told you how I've been this and that, and I'm poor me, a victim, this and that, you would have been like,
Then as a person, that would have been less appealing.
Yes. So as a person, you know, putting our
Right.
burdens and over like our identity
Right.
like that onto someone else too doesn't help the scenario. So we're talking about a lot of how average type people should open-minded and, you know, be open-minded to people's differences and
Right.
whatever. There's also, you know, just a short dude, a 5'8" dude. Are you like, do you have short man syndrome? And are you actually like super short tempered and everything like that?
Right.
And yeah, the girl's blaming it on your shortness, but like maybe there's a personality thing there
Right.
too. That's like
100%.
also, and so like she just doesn't want to carry that burden. That's
Right.
your burden, you
Right,
know. Until you're
100%.
married, my dwarfism and everything that comes with it, it was my burden, you know. Like,
Right.
so if I was putting that off while we were dating, in my opinion,
I probably would have been like, yeah, I'm
yeah,
good.
this is a lot, you know.
It's a lot. Yeah.
So.
Which it is a lot.
So that, do you get my
Brain
point though? The
surgeries and-
both sides there.
Yeah.
There is a both sides to it.
But I think that overall too, like just relating this to other people and other things, I think that one of the biggest takeaways though that you can take hopefully from this is outside opinions and outside advice or unadvice is just not important. You know, whether it's like you're dating somebody of the disability or you're dating somebody who's a different race or from a different country or whatever it may be, I don't know. Outside opinions don't necessarily, like, they just shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
They could have kept me from happiness and they could keep you from happiness as well. And, you know, I think that that's a big takeaway of like mixed height dating for us is like, we didn't let other people's opinions come between us or
Totally.
our relationship.
Totally. And if you're like, I talk mostly about the boys because I am a boy, but like, if you have dwarfism out there, you have a boy, if you have a son that has
Yeah.
dwarfism, and you're listening, like, yeah, there's
Or if you just have a son who's short,
Yeah.
like maybe doesn't have a
Yeah.
disability, just is, you know, scrawny. Like,
confidence can
just
go a
different.
long way. I wish I had more
Yeah.
of that growing up. I wish I had more personality. I wish, like, I just didn't care because I just already wrote it off. Like, oh, they're
Right.
not going to like me anyway. So why do I have to dress nice? Why do I have to do all these things?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I met you, so I don't wish it. You know, my life turned out perfect.
But I think though, all of us say that.
Yeah.
I said 100 times, if I could go back to high school now, I'd be way cooler now than I was back then.
Oh, you're talking
like,
personality, but like you still put the effort in.
but no, but I mean like you saying that you didn't put the effort in or like,
I did not put the effort in. It's on
but
television.
a lot of people didn't.
You can go back and see it on TV.
But that's what I'm saying though, is there's a lot of things that people would change going
Yeah,
back. Like not just people who have dwarfism. Like I think that that's like a human thing. That's a
I'm more
growth
than the
thing.
average did not put the effort in. Okay.
Your Adidas jumpsuits and
Yeah.
yellow shoes.
Yes, thank you.
Did
Okay,
take a hit
so-
as soon as you started dating me.
Yeah, so
Oh
that
my gosh.
anyway, that was my point there.
Yeah.
Have I said my 10-year-old thing?
Your
I know I have.
Your 10-year-old thing?
It's been my thing.
What's your 10-year-old?
If you're someone with dwarfism,
Mm-hmm.
you know, boy, there is a little bit. Life's not equal. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you can be fair. We can strive for fairness, in my opinion, but it's not going to be equal. Okay, the 6'4" guy, he can get away with a worse personality, a silly, immature personality, and maybe still attract the girl. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You can have a great personality, all these things, but you're a person with dwarfism or short, and it's just it's not there. Something that helps, in my opinion, again, for boys with dwarfism, if you look like the 10-year-old that she's babysitting on the weekend,
Yeah.
and you're acting like it,
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to help you.
Right.
You do have to present yourself maybe a little bit more than the 6'4" guy. Be
Right.
a little bit more confident, a little bit more mature, a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
You know, because you don't have the physical immediate, attraction. So
Yeah.
that's been my like philosophy
Right.
towards dating and all these things. If you are a boy with dwarfism, like that is important.
Yeah.
You're being babied still by mom at 20,
And
or
that's like a
whatever.
shout out to parents to like
Yes,
don't baby like
yes.
no matter what your
It's
kid is.
it's
Like
hard because we look cute. We look
Yeah.
cute at 16. Are you calling your 16-year-old
Cute.
average height son cute? No.
Yeah.
So but that girl's gonna look at this just mommy's boy, and
Right.
he already looks like a kid. So it's like that's not
Totally.
that's not gonna help.
Yeah,
So
100%.
that's my big thing.
And I think that that's like a huge parenting shift, like mindset for a lot of parents, not just parents of kids with dwarfism, but like parenting in general is like giving your kids ownership and like holding them responsible for things. Cause I think we're so quick, especially moms, to like baby and do it for them, but that's not going to help your kid.
So perfect. I'll say it. It's not fair for us, or it's not equal for us, for the 6'4" guy who has a terrible personality. Why does he get the girl? You know what I'm saying? Also for parents, if you have someone with a disability or, I'll say again, I'm a boy, so I'll speak to the boys with dwarfism, but also the girls. You maybe can't act like all your other mom friends.
Yeah.
You might have to be
Which
a
is
little
hard.
bit, which is hard. We've talked
Yeah.
about this. You might have to be a little bit different,
Yeah.
a little bit, just
And
different.
you have to be okay with that.
Yes.
You have to be confident in yourself as a woman, as a mother, as all these things to be able to like not compete with your friends.
Yes.
And to not like compare. Like
But not compete, but also there's just, in my opinion, the level just needs to go a little bit up. You might not have the luxury to spoil your kid
yeah.
the same way.
Yeah. Things won't
that
come as
spoiling,
easy, or
that spoiled 18-year-old dwarf kid is going to look like a 10-year-old.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he does look like a 10-year-old. Now he's spoiled. Like,
right.
that's what I'm saying. There might just have to be a next level.
Yeah.
And that's just not
100%.
that's just
and I
life,
think I feel like it's kind of our prerogative to always go back to parenting and like kind of relate everything back to parenting, but like sharing in a story that just recently happened with my friends, like it was my friends with Jackson, and they were playing on this really big play structure.
This is a great story.
Can I tell this story?
Yeah,
is that okay?
Story. Yeah,
I'm not trying to call anyone out, and I haven't
this
talked to any of my friends about this.
This is a great story.
But this is something that just recently occurred with Jay. He has some of the best friends that a mother and a father could ever ask for. Like, seriously, I'm going to get emotional just thinking about it because they're so good to him. They look out for him. They're the best.
He's great with them too. Like it's
their relationship. Their relationship
yeah.
is beautiful. Like I'm so grateful and so thankful, and I thank the Lord every night before I go to bed. Like how much I love these boys. But anyway, his friends do not have dwarfism. His friends are very athletic. They are very fast. They're very good at sports. They're very smart. Like they have everything going for them. They're just awesome kids. And so is Jay, but like they were playing on this play structure that was it was for older kids, which automatically puts Jay at a disadvantage because it's for like 7 to 12-year-olds. Jay is 7, but like he's not as tall as a 7-year-old.
He's a 12-year-old mind though.
And so they start, seriously.
He's like, oh, I should be on.
I should be doing that.
Yeah.
But they were playing Lava Monster, and like you have to there's so many height restrictions on Jackson, speed restrictions, and he was getting left behind, and it was very, very difficult for me to sit there and watch it. Like it was hard. It was emotional. I came home and cried to Zachary because it was just like hard to sit there and watch. And my friends are so amazing and so perceptive that they saw it. Like a particular mom saw it happening, saw Jackson getting left behind, and wanted to interfere. And I was like, oh my gosh, do not interfere right now. Do not because she like called to her son, like, hey, like to come over and like change the game. And I wanted to be like, your son is going to resent ours if you do that. Jackson wasn't upset. He wasn't crying. He just walked away and sat down and started watching another baseball game because he just knew. He knew that that game didn't make sense for him, and he was letting them have their moment. And when our friend was like, let me like interfere, I was like, you can't do that. You cannot do that because I don't want his friends to resent him.
Her heart was in the 100% in the right place.
100% in the right place.
But that's back to what I just said. You had to be a little bit different than all the every mom in the world would have reacted like that. I need to go step in.
I need to go change the
and
game.
Equal this up.
Yes.
Especially in the world of boys, it's alpha.
Hierarchy,
It's
right.
that's how you respect each other. Those boys will come back to Jackson and his friend, who's especially very athletic, very dominant, on the playground. You also got to let him have his moment. He's got to tell all these
Because
other.
they're playing with a bunch of kids that we don't know
Yeah.
that aren't his friends. Like, let them go run around.
That lets him elevate himself.
Yeah.
He will come back to Jackson. He needs a minute. I would relate this to Jeremy and me. I don't remember everything and how my mom reacted every time, but I remember constantly coming to her, crying because they ditched me on the farm, ran off, when really like they just
ran off, like,
and I couldn't keep up. Like they weren't ditching me. They was playing.
Yeah.
Jeremy was an alpha of the pack. Like he was the leader. Like, and if my mom, at times she did, I remember, but other times it was like, I can't keep pulling Jeremy back.
Totally.
He's gonna resent you. Like there's gonna be
Totally.
resentment there. And sometimes like by elevating, you gotta let Jeremy be him
Do his
too.
thing. Yeah.
That's not his burden. That's
Right.
my burden. Or the child's burden. That's the parent's burden.
And I think that in that scenario, if I had let my friend intervene, I truly think that Jackson is perceptive enough to step back and be like, that just changed because of me. Like, I don't know if I want that. Like, I don't know if I want to change this game.
Well, also there's a dynamic, especially with boys. I think mom stepping in too would have been brutal.
Oh, yeah.
Brutal.
Jay tells me all the time. Jay literally tells me all the time, Mom, be cool. Or Mom, chill. Like, he'll say, Mom, chill.
Mom to like even the score for you.
No, barf. No one wants
brutal.
that. Yeah.
Like, but that moms do that.
Yeah, they do.
You are crucifying
but
your
then
kid.
also, like,
wait, hold on. It's not good in boy dynamics. And I always go back to boys with dwarfism.
Yeah.
You have to be subtle with that. Let dad do it. You're not helping your kid. You maybe feel good now because the visual for you is great.
Right.
In the internal long-term thing, it's not healthy.
And like I said, I came home and was a mess. Like, I came home that night and was like talking to Zachary about this, and I didn't really know how much it affected me until I was talking to you about it. But I think that it was really difficult for me to watch that. However, 5 minutes later, what happened? All the boys came back together, and they were all playing a game that Jackson could participate easily in.
They just naturally did.
And then also, Jackson never once got upset. Jackson never once brought it up. He never had tears. He knew that this game wasn't for him. And I'd be okay with that. I'd be like, he's good. Like,
you handled it fantastic. That was amazing. Also, those moments will happen again.
I know.
And again.
And I think though too, it's nice having friends in that scenario that it happens with, because I think that also they were like, no, this has to be okay. Like, you're right. This would be more embarrassing if I would have like intervened, know? I think that they were very, like, I'm sure that I know her, and I know that when they got in the car, they had a conversation about it just because I know her. But
you
like,
gotta let him be.
You gotta let him do his thing.
Jackson
like,
be
he's
Jackson.
there. That's what's one of the coolest things about Jackson. And we're getting so off topic here, but one of the coolest things about Jackson is he's a cool kid. Like, kids want to hang out with Jackson. And I say that as his mom. I get it. I'm biased, but like, I truly think it's like he has a cool personality. So no matter what happens, they're all gonna come back to him. They're all gonna like.
But then this scenario will happen with Josiah too, and Lila. And Lila, I don't understand the dynamics the same. Girls and all that.
Girls are so mean. Yeah.
Girls can be mean, but also girls are circled.
Hopefully they still kind of baby dolls and
if Lila has a personality, I feel like that's a lot of girls talking. Personality, interests.
Totally.
Guys are very like, what can you do?
Yeah. Physical.
And girls are like, what can you say? Or what information, like, right? Am I right there?
I think so.
So my point
I've never been good with girls, so I don't know.
But my point also, Josiah is gonna have these struggles too. Jackson's just starting.
I know.
And it's making sure there's times to step in for sure.
100%.
But then there's other times when it's like, is this for me or is this for him?
Right.
And if it's for you, then step
back. Yeah. 100%.
So that's my big like high horse.
Oh, well, that was good. I feel like we got a little off topic, but.
Well, no, I feel like talking about these scenarios as Jackson, that's going to help his personality later on when he does choose. And then maybe he chooses to date someone with dwarfism, who knows, or an hour. But that's going to make him a more attractive person.
100%.
So he can
He's
in my-
options. Who cares if they're
that's my point.
Who cares if they have dwarfism or not? Like
And the hypothetical is there, but like
Right.
hypothetical is with that sort of parenting.
Because I also with that though don't want it to be like, oh, we have to teach our kids how to be, likable so they can get somebody of average height.
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
That's not what we're saying.
Oh,
we're just
100%.
saying that like we want our kids to
Yeah.
be able to find people that they genuinely have
And
connections with. And
honestly, if
that's
they
it.
don't want to marry or they don't date at all, that's more
Well,
the merrier.
know
No, if
about
Jackson doesn't
that.
date, I'm totally cool.
Well, he doesn't date, but get married
Yeah.
eventually. Well, he
Yeah.
says he's going to live with me until he's.
Yeah, perfect.
But Mama wants grandchildren eventually.
You're gonna
so.
scare every girl away anyway. So
Anyway, I think that this is great, though. I'm glad we decided to date. It's been a good experience.
It was an amazing experience. It still is an amazing experience.
I'm waiting for a date night, though. I need a date night
I know,
so
but
bad.
we're in this season
babe.
of life. It's all over the place. Everyone knows this. If you have multiple kids, you're
No,
in
we're
a
going on a
season-
date next week, though. I'm calling our babysitter. We're
Tori's
going.
actually my roommate right now. We're roommates.
I don't like that.
It's the season.
I know. I hate it.
Kids are throwing up
I
all
love
over the
it,
place.
and I hate it. Oh my gosh, there's been so much vomit in this house.
Vomit, poop, diarrhea. Like
Boogers.
boogers.
Anyway, oh my gosh.
Morning and night. Okay, like. All right. Well, that was a great episode, Tori.
Yeah. Thank you guys for hanging out with us and getting through all that. That was a good one.
Yeah, love it.
Make sure that you like and subscribe everywhere that you can listen to podcasts. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Instagram.
Yeah.
Do your best.
Forget the rest.